Greetings everybody, Jorgen here, and I wanted to do a video on who I think will be the next Wolverine portrayed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But first, let's take out some of the most obvious candidates out of the picture. The first one, and more logical both popularity-wise and recognizability-wise, would have to be Logan, aka James Howlett. This one doesn't require explanation, since Hugh Jackman has been convinced to portray once again his version of Wolverine. I could see him being convinced to just actively become the MCU's Wolverine for as long as possible. I mean, even if Disney and the MCU don't hold the same influence as they did before, it is still stable enough for actors to want in. The second most obvious option must be Laura Kinney, aka X-23. This one makes sense since the MCU has been building up a younger Avengers type lineup with their versions of Spider-Man, Ms. Marvel, White Widow, Ironheart, Shuri, and the new Falcon. Also, since they already got Daphne Keane working with them in the Acolyte show, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think they might want to add her to the MCU, more so since she already portrayed X-23. Plus, we know Kevin Feige is an active advocate of putting as many female heroes on screen as he can, and at least with X-23, he wouldn't be as strong as before. The third and less likely option could be Akihiro Howlett, or Howlett Akihiro depending on if you want to embrace his Japanese background. He is also known as Daken, Fang, or the Dark Wolverine. Now, I can see how Disney might want to use this character on the basis of inclusivity and diversity, as he is half Japanese and also asexual/bisexual. And we know Disney/the MCU loves to push as much of this as they can. There are also some weirdos that want Wolverine to be Asian for whatever reason. The main issue with this character is that they would have to basically completely rework his story, as it is extremely tragic and a bit convoluted. To make a long story short, Akihiro was thought to be killed before he was even born, and as I understand it, he was taken by a character named Romulus so he would become his soldier. Don't get me wrong, this character is interesting enough, but if the MCU wanted to adapt him, we would either get a super watered down version of the character or nothing remotely similar to the original. Those, I believe, are the most likely candidates for Wolverine in the MCU, but there is another one that most people are unaware of. But before I tell you who he is, I wanted to first establish some things. A, in case you aren't aware, it's heavily believed that the MCU was inspired by the Ultimate Marvel Universe, or the Universe 1610, which is the original universe that my fourth candidate is from. B, the Ultimate Universe before it got scrapped was the modern take on the original 616 universe without having to actually do a reboot. This included stories we already knew from back in the day, but brought up to a more contemporary setting. Sadly, this universe is also known for being quite edgy, since it had things like domestic abuse, a lot of sexual themes, cannibalism, and even incest. This was a very controversial universe, to say the least. Now, with that out of the way, let me tell you about the fourth possible version of Wolverine that we could get in the MCU. This is the character known as James Hudson Jr., aka James Howlett Jr., aka the Ultimate Wolverine, aka Kid Wolverine. He's basically the son of the original Ultimate Wolverine, which was Logan, aka James Howlett. In this universe, Logan originally worked for Magneto and was supposed to infiltrate Charles Xavier's, aka Professor X's, group. Before this happened, he had an affair with Magda Lencher, who was the wife or romantic partner of Eric Lencher, aka Magneto. This ended with Magda becoming pregnant and giving birth to Jimmy. Logan then took Jimmy and entrusted him to a man named James Hudson, who he fought with in Iraq. Jimmy, unaware of this, grows up relatively normally, but then, one fateful day while drag racing, he crashes and was believed dead until his mutant ability manifests, saving his life. After this, Jimmy is approached by Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat, who had the last message of Logan to his son. In there, things get more or less explained. Then Kitty, that theorized Jimmy inherited Logan's abilities, encourages him to try and pop his claws out, and so he did. He then joins Jean Grey and a new group of X-Men. Later he fights with other mutants against the US government in order to survive, and also so mutants could have a place of their own. After this, the Ultimate Universe gets erased, and until he appeared in the Universe 616, he was thought to be dead. While in the Universe 616, he joins the group named XMen Blue, which was integrated by young versions of the original X-Men, including Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Beast, Angel, and Iceman. The presumably last appearance he makes is during the Poison event, in which he bonds with a symbiote and after a poison, only surviving thanks to his healing factor, as the second bonding normally kills the host. But in the recent Rise of the Power of X comic, he supposedly appears in the last issue, implying that unlike Miles Morales, he wasn't approached by the Maker when he recreated the Ultimate Universe. Now, why do I think he is a possible candidate to become the main Wolverine in the MCU? There are two reasons. First one involves the fact that even though there have been some major hints, mutants are still technically not canon to the MCU. The reason I mention this is because in the Ultimate Universe it was revealed that mutants were man-made and not a natural occurrence like in the Universe 616. Basically, they were accidentally created while trying to replicate the super soldier serum that created Captain America. This is related to Jimmy because his mom, that was originally supposed to infiltrate Magneto's group, actually stole the source of the mutants in the 6 and 10 universe, and because she needed a way to transport it safely, she injected herself while unaware of her pregnancy, meaning that the key to create mutants, which is called Mothermind by the way, was inside Jimmy by the time he was born. This actually made him a key element in the 616 universe, as in the latest attempt from evil mutants to rule over the world, Mothermind was used to trigger secondary mutations in mutants, giving them multiple abilities. So the MCU could use these elements to integrate mutants to the Marvel Cinematic Universe without having to retcon too much, and in the process get a connection to Logan, so Hugh Jackman might keep appearing as Old Man Logan, plus adding another young hero to the upcoming Young Avengers lineup. The second reason is that one of the main actors rumored to be casted as Wolverine in the MCU is Taron Egerton, known for his roles in Kingsman and Rocketman. Now, he could portray a younger Logan for sure, but he would be perfect for James Howlett Jr., as he resembles him the most appearance-wise. Not to mention that apparently there are rumors that Taron has been in contact with Marvel for a role, so who knows, he might already be. As a final note, I wanted to mention that besides the standard Wolverine powers of healing factor, superhuman senses, superhuman physiology, and an animal instinct, he also has the ability to cover his bones in an organic or biometal, similar to Colossus' power, thing that is believed to be a side product of carrying the Mothermind in his system. This gives him an advantage over Logan's powers, not only because he can become way lighter and agile, but also because he can maintain the indestructibility property that Logan has. Although it is not known how durable the organic metal is compared to adamantium, he can, however, extend this metal to both his teeth and nails, meaning that he has more options in combat. If you're interested in this character, I'll leave a reading list in chronological order for you to check out in the description. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope to see your thoughts in the comments, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.